Hello, and welcome to the month of May. May is probably one of the most important months of the entire year for school districts. Certainly here in Oceanside, the month of May is filled with so many accumulating events, but we are especially proud of our musical concerts that take place at the elementary, middle, and high school level. Please be sure to refer to our district calendar to be clear on the dates and times of each one of those wonderful, wonderful events. May is also the month that our school district budget is voted on by the members of the community. Many of you who have been part of our Board of Education meetings know that we have been processing the budget since well before the month of January. Details around the budget can be found on our district website, but it is most important to recognize that our tax levy limit this year is 0.43%, and our district has successfully been able to build a budget around that without cutting any programs in our school district. In fact, we're actually adding a couple of things, such as a boys swim team and a dance choreography class at our high school. So please, it's so very important that you remember Tuesday, May 17th, and really know that your vote does count. The worst that can happen for us is an apathetic voter turnout. We need your voice. The other thing that happens in the month of May is the granting of tenure. Tenure is something we take very seriously here in the Oceanside schools, and we will be happy to make that recommendation to our Board of Education for a number of our teachers and one very special administrator. Ms. Gerri DeCarlo, our high school principal, will be recommended for tenure this coming May. I thought it would be a perfect opportunity for the community to get to know a little bit more about Ms. DeCarlo if you don't already know of her great work at Oceanside High School. So Ms. DeCarlo, I cannot believe that it's been 3 years already since it was my pleasure and one of the first decisions I got to make as superintendent to appoint you as Oceanside High School principal. I know that many people know a lot about you, but why don't you just begin by telling us a little bit about your history and how you got to Oceanside School District?
Certainly. Thank you for the opportunity. My career spans 30 plus years. I'll get to the plus in a minute. I started my career at Hunter College, moved on to NYU, and I had my administrative training at CW Post. I had the opportunity of teaching at a business school, parochial school, and Valley Stream. And during that Valley Stream time, I had the opportunity of becoming an administrator as a department chair, believe it or not, of Family Consumer Science, Business, Technology, and Construction, which is a whole nother story. But I also was associate principal of summer school. And then I was fortunate enough to come here to Oceanside. And I've spent 10 years at Oceanside being an associate principal. And now it's my pleasure that it's been 3 years, and I thank you very much for your confidence and asking me to be the principal of high school at Oceanside for the last 3 years. Is my third year. The plus years, because I was on maternity leave, long time, and I was able to work with the PTA extensively, because I think that is so important to have that community involvement. So I held a lot of positions there, and I was president of the PTA and so forth, so that's my educational journey.
So as you said, you're no stranger to administration, and of course you had the role of associate principal here in the high school, but there's nothing like actually being in the seat of principal. So what surprised you the most when you became Oceanside High School principal?
That's a good question. I was aware that becoming the principal of Oceanside High School would present many firsts, but I also believed that because so many people knew me as associate principal for 10 years, the students, the parents, the community, that the transition would be a little easier. To my surprise, it was not. I later realized, in thinking back to that first year, that people saw me as a disciplinarian. And I had to work very hard to prove my skill set as principal and to establish myself in the new role.
That's very interesting that you say that, and you certainly have accomplished making that successful transition. So good for you. So in the course of the 3 years, I know that in my mind I can think of many, many accomplishments and highlights that you were very much a part of. What sticks out for you as highlights of your tenure as Oceanside High School principal?
It's a very good question. There's so much to be proud of. Let me start by saying that my position is much like a CEO or a COO of a major company, and I do not work alone. I am blessed with an amazing administrative staff, associate principals, directors, supervisors. Add to that the outstanding and caring teachers and staff, and we have a winning combination. We concentrate on safety first because we believe that once an individual feels safe, they can open themselves up to the opportunities before them. I'm most proud of our track record of bringing new ideas to fruition. Teachers attentively listened to our students and they forged ahead to bring these ideas to the administrators, who in turn brought those to you, Dr. Harrington, our leader, and ultimately the Board of Education, to rewrite and add and adjust curriculum so that we would meet the growing needs of our students. The English department has brought forward their writing. They've written frameworks for all of their courses. They just recently had a book talk that was absolutely phenomenal. Students, parents, administrators, community members all participated, and it was outstanding. Social studies brought us big history. They work in tandem with the English department. We have math, who has brought us the Algebra 2 and Concepts courses, along with the AP Computer Science principles for next year. Family and Consumer Science revamped their child development courses and education courses. Every department has done something to expand our education. Business, virtual business next year. How exciting. We will actually be running a business out of Oceanside High School. World language embraced the ELL state requirements, and they're forging ahead to help our teachers meet those goals. Special education restructured their course of study to increase student access to curriculum, as well as to allow our students to explore opportunities in the building. Science has anatomy and physiology. We have engineering technology, Project Lead the Way next year. Fine and Performing Arts added theater, choreography, 3D sculpture. We have phys ed and health, who have constantly been working with our students on the social, emotional, and decision-making. The youth survey they just finished. Guidance has moved their college workshops to the fall, and they have produced a phenomenal college planning guide. We have, for the first time, our AP students will be working with mentors on a project of their choice for the last 5 weeks of their fourth quarter, and that's called the AP Experience. And let us not forget our technology. We have the iPad initiative. We have given our students access to the student portal, as well as student emails, and today we opened up the Wi-Fi for our 11th and 12th grade students. I'm so proud of that, We have expanded, and we have a tech squad this year, a student tech squad, and we'll expand it next year as well. We have a phenomenal student activities office where it enriches our students' experiences, and a competitive sports program. We are truly a comprehensive high school. So if I sound like a proud parent, it's because I am. We have so much.
Well, just listening to you, it actually reminds me of, wow, all of this really did happen in the last couple of years. And I was lucky and fortunate enough to be a participant in some of the things you talked about. So I couldn't be as equally as excited, in thinking about those highlights. There's so much that can be said about a high school staying somewhat stagnant. That's clearly not what's happening here in Oceanside, and so much of that is to your credit, Mrs. DeCarlo.
Thank you.
With that being said, and so much on the plate, I guess my final question is, what do you see in the future for Oceanside High School under your leadership?
I see us continuing on this path of literacy and all the subject matters, writing across the curriculum, college and career readiness, and of course expanding our technology. We know we buy something, we walk out the door, and it's already decreased in its value. So we need to continue keeping up with the trend of technology. And we need to look ahead, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. What needs do our students have? What skills, I should say, do our students need, and how do we meet those needs? I must say that I am so happy and proud to be a member of Oceanside community. There is no community that I know of that cares for those in need, and to give our children the opportunities and to prepare them for what they need to be successful, and more than Oceanside. I thank you and the Board of Education for that.
So, Mrs. DeCarlo, I will be so proud on Tuesday, May 10th, at our regular Board of Education meeting to recommend you for tenure in the Oceanside School District. So please, please come out and join us as we honor not only educators like Mr. DeCarlo, but the others that will be also recommended for this very high honor. Again, please remember Tuesday, May 17th, such an important date for all of us, and overall, have a wonderful, wonderful month.